laughter isn't just the best medicine for the audience, you know? It's also the best medicine for the doctor. This isn't the first time I've ever dealt with death and comedy at the same time either. What made these transitions easier for me, that statement sounds hilarious, by the way. But what I'm so grateful for is the work that I do off stage clearly has done something. I recorded that comedy special in 2020 or 2021, somewhere around there. I'm just gonna name names, bro. Podcast Cringe, friggin' Joke World, these weird fucking channels. Your whole existence is based off of somebody else's hard work. Both shows sold out, sold merch. Everybody had a good time. What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy Black Zeus. Welcome to Black Zeus, the podcast, season 5, episode 45. Doing things a little differently this week, as you can tell. No freestyles, no music. Dante's not here this week. I wasn't even going to record, to be perfectly honest. Right off the bat, I'll just let you guys know. I am dealing with 2 family losses. I have just lost 2 family members. And in the midst of that, I had to record a comedy special. Actually more of an album. I wouldn't call it a special. And given that I started this podcast, I started this channel, I started Black Zeus the show to give people an authentic and honest look at what it is to be a comedian on the come up this day and age. I just, I'm in the energy to get in the studio, to kind of walk through and talk through the process of what it's like having to record and go through promoting a comedy album taping while dealing with not 1 but 2 deaths of really close people. Obviously we've all heard the phrase laughter is the best medicine. It's not just being able to laugh yourself, I think. Like, if laughter is the best medicine, then I would consider myself a doctor, because I'm a comedian. And that's literally, like, if I'm up there prescribing laughs to an audience. Things are a little different, obviously, because comedians are still people and we still deal with life. And what is it like to have to be funny and promote comedy when you're mourning? It's weird. And at the same time, laughter isn't just the best medicine for the audience, It's also the best medicine for the doctor. Laughter is the best medicine, period. And I'm very grateful. First of all, big salutes, shout outs, thank yous, and love yous to the Corner Comedy Club in Toronto. Thank you to Joe. Thank you to Derek. Thank you to Christine. I love y'all. Some really amazing people. To all the comics that frequent that club. To all the other staff that weren't there that night, but still, like, spliffs. There's so many amazing people I've met through that place. It is definitely like a second home, And if I was recording anywhere during a time of tragedy, I'm very grateful that it was at that club with those people helping me, because it's like, fam, I barely had to lift a finger and it turned out better than I could have hoped for. And for that, I'm eternally grateful. And it's not just for the people at the corner. Thank you to my specific tribe. Thank you to my group of people that helped me get to the finish line on this one. Obviously, Dante. Thank you to Yinka. Thank you to Jeremy Dobsky. Check out comedian Jeremy Dobsky, who's a Toronto comedian. And thank you to my brother Kirby Darius, another Toronto comedian. They were my openers, my hosts, and Jeremy actually helped me record the audio. And again, dealing with all this other stuff, I'm just so grateful that I didn't have to worry about promotion and really much of anything to do with the club. It was all taken care of for me, and I'm forever grateful. Thank you to the 2 sold-out shows. Thank you to all the audience members that showed up. Thank you to my friends that showed up. Thank you to the people that bought merch. I'm very grateful, man. The 8 o'clock show was the one. The 8 o'clock show is going to be 90 to 95% of what you hear on the album recording. The 10 o'clock show was also sold out, but 10 o'clock show on a Saturday, you tend to get more rowdy and drunk and just disorderly. And even though they were good for the most part, there was zero talking and zero like misbehaving on the part of the audience for the first show. During the second show, a lot more talking. And I couldn't even really be mad because people were into the jokes and stuff, but it's just, not the right etiquette for recording. But I wasn't really agitated or anything like that. Like, it's weird. If there's anything I could say to anybody dealing with grief or just life in general, because life obviously gets hard and it's not just death. That makes it hard. The one thing I could say that's helped me immensely, that's helping me even just be more okay, because I've dealt with death. I'm 35 years old, and I have dealt with death a lot. Unfortunately, I've lost really close friends in early 20s to circumstances that most people don't deal with. But I don't necessarily want to say street stuff, but it's just more on the hoodlum side of life. And there was actually, this isn't the first time I've ever dealt with death and comedy at the same time either. This is probably the most close to home, and to have two back to back within a week leading up to, and then the day of, if not the day after my album taping, very jarring. To have to manage that energy. It's like a lot of highs and lows, and I'll get to why I actually feel more even at this point in my life in a minute. But I one time years ago, before I went up on stage, 10 minutes, I'll never forget this. It was 10 minutes before I was getting my name called up. I get a phone call. And I had a friend in my life at that time who was dealing with cancer and was in the hospital and all that stuff. But we weren't really expecting for them to go at that time. And 10 minutes before I go up on stage, I get a phone call saying your friend has passed away. And I'll never forget it, man. It was weird. Like the best way I can put it is it was weird. I don't even think it was sad or anything. It was just jarring. Because again, how do you... And I'm not saying that we are doctors. I'm just using the analogy that if laughter is the best medicine and I'm a comedian, then that kind of in this phrase makes me the doctor of the situation. And doctors going into surgery, steady hands. You have to be. And I'm sure... imagine a doctor in a crisis zone or something, a wartime doctor or something like this. You're acknowledging and absorbing all the sadness and negativity and death or whatever around you, but you still have a job to do, and you still have people that depend on you. And I'm not saying that, again, I'm not relating comedy and doing comedy shows to the same as that. And not like the audience is even depending on me. I could have definitely canceled the show. It was brought up to me that I didn't have to do it. But I was in the energy to do it. It was, if anything, it was for the memory of my family, And I'm just grateful that 13, almost 14 years into comedy now, I have the experience not just on stage, but in life. I've experienced the death things. I've experienced traumatic things happening in the space of comedy. It's never been this heavy, but I've had the experiences, so I knew that I was okay to get through it. And now to get to probably the main reason why I wanted to jump on this recording, bro, because we're all dealing with stuff, and there's no one thing that makes any trauma easier to get through or to go through. But I promise you, What made these transitions easier for me? That statement sounds hilarious, by the way, especially given the it's 2024, so you can't say transitioned anymore. Dealing with the deaths. The nigga's trans now? What has made it easier for me to cope, I guess, for lack of better term, is I have spent a lot of time the last 2 years specifically, but since I was around the age of 22, which is when I started comedy. But I do the introspection, like I do the reflection, you know? I do the meditation, I do the reflections, I do the prayers, whatever you want to call them. And on top of that, I've been doing a lot of just research. I'm Ethiopian. I was born in Greece, so it started with that. I just started to learn more about Ethiopia and African customs and Greeks and Greece and Greek customs and all this stuff. And then honestly, kind of seeing how Greek went into Egypt, took all the Egypt stuff, and then seeing how even Egypt got what it got from the rest of Africa, from the rest of Samaria, and whether you want to believe it or not, probably parts of North America. But just seeing the connection of everything, learning more about what my ancestors believed as opposed to going off of what I was told they believed. Like for me, being an Ethiopian, being an African, I grew up Christian, but I grew up thinking like my ancestors were pagans. You know, like they worshipped multiple deities. You know, you look at the Egyptian stuff and it's like, oh, the Egyptians had multiple gods and they worship multiple gods and idols and idol worship and all this. Double middle finger to all the friggin' Eurocentric BS that made me look at my own ancestry like it was demonic. It's far from it. And realistically, what you like to call Abrahamic religions, your Catholics, your Christians, your Jews, your Muslims, all of it is from ancient Egypt, which is from ancient. And it's up to you to kind of do that work. This is a comedy podcast. I'm not going to go too far heavy into that. I'm just letting you know that learning about my lineage, learning about my ancestry, and learning about, let's see, I'll phrase it this way, learning about spiritual sciences. What has now become religion started off not as organized religion, you know, and kind of going back to that. And already being a spiritual person myself and having my own experiences to draw from in life, you know, I feel like I said this on the Disciplined Stoners podcast, which will be out in like a week or two. Shout outs to the Disciplined Stoners crew. I had a blast. That's probably my favorite podcast that I've been a guest on ever. Best conversation. I'll definitely highlight it on the page. And we talked a lot about just life, about philosophy, and how that blends with comedy and all that stuff. And I'm just so grateful that I did all that work to really bridge the gap between what religion like muddied up and made me not a non-believer, but religion will put a bunch of BS on a bunch of real spiritual systems, you know, some metaphysical stuff. And I already don't believe that we go to the dirt. You know, realistically, I believe that you go wherever you think. You know? Because if we're talking about Hermetic principles, and the first principle is all is mind, and then this whole thing is a thought anyways. So wherever you tell yourself you're going, baby. So prep your mind before you prep anything else. And just having a better understanding and idea and connection with my ancestors and the lineage that has come before me for me to exist has like completely changed how I view death and transitioning. Given the deaths that I've experienced in my 20s, being some of my best friends at the time, you know, and another good friend, versus what I'm experiencing now, it's like night and day. I'm more actually able to acknowledge a celebratory side of life in death and not be so mournful or crying all the time. And, you know, I let it pass, you know, you let it all pass. But what was super weird was having to do a comedy album. But what I'm so grateful for is the work that I do off stage clearly has done something. Because I just feel at peace, I feel calm, and I feel prepared even in the midst of chaos. Order comes out of chaos. And I finally have acknowledged how I can do both. How I can maintain order or maintain chaos or create chaos and create order out of that chaos. And it definitely showed. Because that, I'm super proud of how, especially that 8 o'clock taping went. Damn. Yeah, you guys will definitely be seeing that comedy album on the YouTube channel early New Year. I'm very excited to get that out to the world. I already have a comedy special. Like, I taped a theater special in 2019, and that's still not really been seen. Though when I started the channel, the goal was get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'll release the comedy special. It's still kind of listed that way on the channel. But at this point, like, I recorded that comedy special in 2020 or 2021, somewhere around there. I think it was 21. You know, that's years ago. So I took my favorite material from that, and I have grown so much on stage just from that time period. And I already had grown so much at that point when I recorded that, but I felt like I could deliver that material so much better and crisp, like way more crisp. And it already was really good. I've already released clips from that comedy special, and they've gained me tons of followers. People are like, you're hilarious, release this, da-da-da, this and that. And I still, like, again, I'm honest with myself. I know how much better I've gotten, and I always want to present, you got to lead best foot forward, you know what I mean? And if I haven't released it yet, then why not just take the little time and effort to re-record my favorite material off that, push that, because then it's updated, more modern, and then you guys have some bonus material, or there's like, I have extra content. Like, I'm spoiled for content, man. And I'm so grateful. Once again, there's new people coming to this channel every day now. Like, it's literally, we're on the come up. We're on the come up. Like, we have been putting ourselves out there and finding our tribe, but now the algorithms are finally starting to hit, and our tribe is finding us. We have presented ourselves the most authentic way we possibly can. This is not your average comedy channel. We're not going to be sitting here talking about Joe Rogan and his 6 friends every week. We might every once in a while, but how come every comedy channel on YouTube now, comedy channel, quote unquote, I'm just going to name names, bro. Podcast Cringe, friggin' Joke World, these weird fucking channels. Joke World pisses me off, man. Because he calls himself the ESPN of comedy, and this guy literally week to week talks about Joe Rogan and Kill Tony and friggin' the same 3 dudes, and then he's like, and this week's, if you want to see what's going on in the podcast world this week, Stavros has Tony Hinchcliffe on. And then on Your Mom's House, you can hear Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura suck each other out. Like, bro, Joke World, you're ass. You're garbage. You do nothing for comedy. I'm riling myself up here. There's too many people out here that are perpetrators, nigga. You are not comedians. And it's funny. What would happen to a page like Podcast Cringe if Joe Rogan just stopped releasing his podcast? What would happen? Your whole existence is based off of somebody else's hard work. Whether or not it's good is irrelevant to me at this point. The internet has made it so these people think they have a say in anything. And you know what? There's a bunch of, I'm just going to say, there's a bunch of out there who also think they have a voice and opinion, because that's what Twitter and Facebook and all these platforms have given people. They've given them an actual platform to voice their stupid opinions. But guess what? I've looked into it too. Joke World, I've done comedy. I tried comedy, but you're a fucking hack. You're a fucking garbage comedian. I've never even seen it, but I can imagine the snooze fest. Bro, all these niggas is out here like, we represent comedy, and all they do is talk shit about other known comedians who have actually done something in the field of comedy, and they think because they're voicing an opinion, and there's other losers who have never done anything in the field of comedy who think, yeah, he's saying what I'm thinking. You can all go fucking cliff, bitch. I don't want any of those people as fans. I don't want any of those people as subscribers. I want authentic, genuine people who have their own thoughts and opinions and know that, hey, like, they're my thoughts and opinions. I don't need to release them unless I actually have some skin in the game, because that means nothing. I actually don't know about comedy, but here's all my opinions on comedy. Like, what the F, bro? Like, why don't I just start a medical YouTube page and start giving people medical advice? Why don't I just start a freaking financial advice page and give people, like, bro, I do none of that professionally. And this week, and here on Podcast Cringe, we voice the opinion of the you voice diarrhea. All those pages, bruh. Literally just coming up off of other people's hard work. It's lame. Even if they're right. I agree with a lot of the opinions that Podcast Cringe makes, but F Podcast Cringe. He doesn't do comedy. And he's a voice of comedy? What does that even mean, bro? Do you know what the basic, like, writing structure, like, anything? Forget about basic writing structure. These guys don't do anything in the field of comedy other than watch and voice hatred. You're lame. Love and respect to all the beautiful people that have already found us. We have been doing this so organically, and now actually starting to invest in ourselves, because this is what it is, bro. I'm in the business of comedy. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. Except FJZ also. You know what I mean? Major throwing up the X's for that guy. Rotten hell, you weirdo. This is a comedy channel run by comedians for real comedy fans. That's you. You know? So that's why I'm on here talking about the actual experiences that I dealt with dealing with death and having to record a comedy album. Let them give you that take. They won't, because they don't do it, and they don't do anything themselves other than sit and freaking run a YouTube channel based on something they've never done. You know? It's mad annoying. And now I feel like the channel finally greased up properly. It's running properly. We got the comedian interviews. We got Black Zeus to show where we actually travel and show you behind the scenes on the road at comedy shows, doing live interviews, showing comedy clips, talking life, talking comedy. We got Black Zeus the podcast, which is this right here, the weekly companion to my comedy career. And now Dante, we're actually like tracking our progress and giving you guys week to week updates and comedy recaps and poll results. And we're doing the top 10 comedy lists and all these amazing things that I'm super proud of, because it's all in the realm of comedy, and that's what we do. So that's what we will talk about. This episode's gonna be it. I really don't have much more to say. I just wanted to get on here and do the comedy recap, give my love and respects and thank yous to the people that helped me, and kind of explain the process of what it is going through that. You know, like, I'm just so grateful, man. Both shows sold out, sold merch. Everybody had a good time. And you know, I was thinking before I went there that I was going to say something on mic. I was going to be like, hey, I'm dealing with this, and, you know, I want to dedicate these shows. I didn't even do that, because like that part of it was for me. The shows and the album recordings and this episode of the podcast, all dedicated to who I'm dedicating it to. But that's for me, man. Like, the audience is there for the laughter and for the shared experience and the memories, not for the burden. And even still, you know, I'm sure there's ways to do it, but didn't feel necessary. I guess before I get out of here, I will promote some shows, because we're at the end of the year, and these are the last shows for the year. This Friday, December 6th, I will be back at the Corner Comedy Club, downtown Toronto. The 13th and the 14th of December, I will be at Yuck Yucks London. The 20th and the 21st, I will be at Yuck Yucks Niagara. And the 27th, I will be back in London, Ontario with my boy G. Gaethje. Yeah, there's more shows. I actually have others, but we'll promote them when there's more solid dates. Yeah, I just wanted to hop on here. Again, no intro, no outro. Just love and respect and thank yous to all the beautiful people that have subscribed, that have hit like, that have commented, that are engaging and you know, supportive of what we're doing. Not just on this channel, but in life. If you would like, go check out my Instagram. I'm AKA Black Zeus. I post clips there every day. But this is the place to be. And if you want to support, please check out the Patreon, AKA Black Zeus on Patreon. And you can help us get to new destinations around the world as we are plotting the new year and new places to go and document doing comedy so you guys can see what it is to be a comedian on the come up this day and age. But yeah, I think that's going to do it. I love y'all. I thank y'all. And yeah, this has been Black Zeus the Podcast, Season 5, Episode 45. Peace, peace.